And only 12 years later, the LP actually continues. Hi there, and welcome back to Planescape Torment. I'm Byron. And yes, it continues. I still have the save file from 12 years ago. This is still the original version of the game from 1999. This is the GOG version. This runs on modern computers using Windows 11 as well. So we will continue where we left off ages ago. But I actually had to go back to an older save, 32 instead of 34, because I figured out I made a mistake back then, 12 years back. If you tell the priest Hargrim that you killed the cranium rats, then he releases you and the doors open, you can leave. But Stale Mary then no longer gives you access to the Silent King. You still can get access to the Silent King by pickpocketing the key from Hargrim or killing him and getting the key from Hargrim. If you do that, everyone here turns hostile. You need the key to open that door, and there are 2 giant skeletons in front of the door that you need to kill before you can enter, and if you attack those skeletons, everyone here turns hostile too. So the only way to get in there peacefully is by talking to Stale Mary, but since I already turned in the other quest, that way was no longer possible. The problem is you need a high charisma to do that. I don't have a high charisma, but the good thing is I'm a mage, so I can make do. I have a charisma of 18 now, that should be enough. Hi. I had some questions. She nods her head, awaiting your question. Mary, I need to speak with the Silent King. Can you help me? Why? I need to leave this place, Mary. I have so much to do. And to be imprisoned here simply for stumbling upon the dead nations. It isn't right. Please, I ask only for a modicum of compassion. Can you help me? And we get XP, 3750. Still Mary is quiet for a time, then nods. She points to the first of the 3 portals along the northern walls. Close eyes, think of Silent King, walk through northwest alcove, but only as long as I live. Thanks, Mary.
In knowing the teachings of Zerthamon, I have become stronger.
Yeah, cool, so... This alcove extends only a few feet into the north wall before coming to an abrupt end. It was here that Stale Mary had told you to close your eyes and think of the Silent King before stepping inside. As long as she is still alive, it should activate a portal to the Silent King's throne room. And we activate the portal. And go through it. Oops. Stop this heresy. Do not approach the Silent King. And we have Hargrim the Bleak again. So, thou have come. The skeleton turns to gaze upon the massive throne. What thou see here is the end of our culture. What do you mean? No one must know that the Silent King speaks only silence. How long has this gone on? Long. Oh, still Mary is here too. Hargrim stares off into the shadows. He stopped speaking to us long ago. He himself has left for the thrice damned true death. A trace of rage and despair trickles into his voice. He has abandoned us here to suffer amongst the living. We have become the prey of all that lives. If that is so, how does he rule? No, well, then who really rules? Well, let's try this one. Let's pretend to be stupid first. We interpret the wishes of the Silent King based on what he said many long years ago. It has not been easy. Hargrim sounds tired. He sags beneath the weight of an invisible burden. Many questions do I have for him. Why does he still rule? He rules because he must. But if he's dead, how? Yeah, okay. So who really rules here then? Marv and I speak to the Silent King. We rule in his stead. No, not Marv, Mary. This has nothing to do with Sin City. Why don't you tell your people the truth? I wish to preserve what we have created. I do not wish to die. Nor I. If our people were to learn of this, or our caster were to discover this deception, or many as one the hive mind of the cranium rats, all that we have created here would be destroyed. This husk is what keeps the inner and outer enemies at bay. If the truth were spoken, our small civilization would become dust. I cannot force thee to be silent, but I would ask thee to look beyond thyself, to consider what would happen if thou spoke of what thou have seen here. Why don't you place a new king upon the throne? The king must be alive when he sits upon the throne. It will accept no other. Once a person sits upon the throne, Hargrim's tone becomes even more ominous, he may not leave it. Okay, and for funsies, you can say, I will become your king if you will have me. Yes. Once one sits upon the throne, they may never leave it. Death, true death, is the only release from the Silent King's throne. Yes, I will do it. Still, Mary makes a faint gurgling sound. Hargrim nods and gestures to the throne. Then take thy throne, O Silent King. We take it, and it's game over. As the only release from the Silent King's throne is death, you are bound to it for all eternity. Okay. Good thing we saved. Do that again.
In knowing the teachings of Zerthamon, I have become stronger.
No. I want to use the fucking portal, please.
Good as...
Okay. Okay, so we will not become the new king. This would be the end of the game. You could offer a serious vow. You could a false promise here. It is advantageous for you to give away their secrets. But it's also kind of evil. So I offer a vow here. I only wish to leave Hargrim. Grant me this and you shall have my silence.
Updated my journal.
My skills have increased.
Everybody seems to be leveling up here. The Withering Corpse, impressive in its engraved parade armor despite its coating of dust and cobwebs, is apparently the mighty Silent King. The Lord and Master of the Dead Nations appears to be little more than a desiccated shell. We could try to take his skull, but we are not dexterous enough. Tearing off the Silent King's head will doubtlessly anger the throne room's current occupants. You're going to have to deal with them first. Leave. Oh no, maybe if we had another skull we could replace it, but I assume with a dexterity of 10 that's really not good enough to pull off such a feat. Okay. Is Mary still here? Yeah, here. Okay, so that's pretty much... How do we leave the... Probably by using the door, right?
Done.
Like a civilized human being, yes.
Done.
Can we get... No, we can't get it back in. Okay. What does the journal say now? Okay, that is very good. Let's see whether we can still tell Hargrim that we killed the rats. Hold it. I found and killed a group of cranium rats in the rubble of an old passageway. And we get some more XP. Nice. Have you seen a small bronze sphere anywhere here? I have seen no such thing here. Perhaps deeper beneath sigils search the drowned catacombs. Thou shalt find the entrance to that place of where thou first came here. West of where thou first came here. Take care not to disturb the resting dead, or thou shalt incur the wrath of the Silent King.
Updated my journal.
No, we already know that the Silent King kinda is, you know, dead. Okay, I will now play back to the part where we left off 12 years ago, and we'll see each other there. So hold on for a second. Okay, so we are... No, I don't want to quit the game. We are in the Drowned Nations, and we do have a certain quest. Find the nameless zombie her name. A zombie asked me to find her name. She said it should be inscribed upon her tomb, one next to a spiked chest bolted to the floor in the Drowned Nations catacombs, south and west of the Dead Nations where I met her. This is a spiked chest. The container is locked though. Can I force it open?
Forced it.
Open.
Done.
Okay. Nice. And this is the tomb. This large tomb has a short inscription carved into it. Read the inscription. Here lies the beloved mother of Bajin A. The last part of the inscription is illegible. Damn it. Okay, we are now exactly where we left off 12 years ago. In the Drowned Nations, I was in the tomb. I have the bronze sphere and the decanter of endless water. Those tomb keys are useless now. I think I'm gonna drop them somewhere. Also, I have came across of a Tear of Saliero Day. Don't really know whether we found that 12 years ago, but now I did. Permanent +1 constitution, usable only by lawful good characters. This glistening red tear was shed by the martyred Harmonium officer Saliero Day when he was put to death on the Harmonian's home plane of Ortho. Mistaken as a member of the hated Revolutionary League, Saliero Day's obedience and loyalty was such he could not bring himself to challenge the allegations of his superiors. At the moment of his execution, 3 tears fell from his right eye and turned to stone as they fell upon the flagstones of the square. Ironically enough, an anarch has subsequently revealed the Harmonium's mistake to the public, discrediting them. Ever since, the tears of Saliero Day have been considered relics of the Harmonium and used as a lesson to the evils of unquestioning obedience by the Revolutionary League. So I happen to be lawful good. And I have a constitution of 12. Now I have a constitution of 13. That's nice, and I think we can talk to Dakon.
What is your will?
Dakon turns to you, his eyes like polished coal. His blade mirrors his eyes for a moment as you address him, then he nods. What is your will? There are things I would know, Dakon. I will hear you. I had some questions about the Gistharai. Dakon waits. I had some questions about Gistharai language. Dakon waits. What is Tka's choice? Dakon's forehead creases and his eyes narrow. I would know how you came to know that expression. You spoke it when we met with the Gistharai. I would know what you meant by it. It is an expression that knows many meanings. Well then, tell me one of them. Tka's choice speaks of one who has no choice in their actions. So when I asked you to speak to the Gistharai, you had no choice but to do it? Why? Dakon's blade ripples and you watch as the edges become grayed and dull. His face clenches and he speaks through his teeth. It is not my will to speak of this. I want to hear you speak of it though. In fact, you said a number of things in that conversation which interested me. Know that your will is my will. When you speak, know I must hear you. Know that your words may stay my blade or guide it to the throat of another. What? But why? And 3000 experience points. Dakon seems to look through you, as if meeting your gaze is unbearable. Your path is my path. I am chained to you. You my slave? At the word slave, Dakon's face collapses in pain as if he was struck. It is as if the word was a dagger stabbing at the core of his suffering. But why, Dakon? Know it is a long tale, and know that nothing is gained in the telling. Still, I would hear it.
Updated my journal.
The people do not allow themselves to be enslaved by another in deed or chains. If we find ourselves in such a cage, we act to free ourselves, even if it means we must endure another cage for a time. You performed a great service for me. In doing so, you enslaved me. I acted to free myself. Know that I surrendered my word and myself to act in your name until your death. But I cannot die. That was not known to this one. I surrendered my word to him. I surrendered myself. Know that there is now nothing left that I may surrender except my life. Know now that I follow you only so I might die. What was the service I gave you that chained you? You saved this one's life. In exchange, your life became mine. How did I save your life? Upon the rolling plain of limbo, the people share cities from the chaos with their thoughts. No, the people shape cities from the chaos with their thoughts. Note that there is no place for a divided mind. Dakon raises the blade from his shoulders and holds it before him. As he stares at it, it sharpens until it is almost as thin as a piece of paper. Go on. A divided mind is an unfocused mind. A divided mind fractures walls and weakens stone. As Dakon speaks, the edges of the blade corrode slightly, the metal misting and melting along the edges. Many divided minds may destroy a city. I understand. Go on. Long have I known the words of Serthimon. Through my voice, many have come to know the words of Serthimon. The Serth protects the community from all threats, whether to the body or the mind. They are the guiding stones in the chaos. So it came to pass that I spoke the words of Serthimon without knowing the words of Serthimon. It came to pass that I no longer knew myself. So you doubted the words? No. Dakon's voice is edged and his blade sharpens in response. I knew the words, yet it came into my heart that perhaps others did not know the words as Serthimon knew them. And so the vision formed. As my mind became as two, as my mind became divided, those that looked to me as a guiding stone became divided. Many scores of Githzerai, many hundreds of scores of Githzerai doubted. Shrugged died that day. So those that followed you came to doubt the words as well, and the city was weakened. The enemies of Serthimon came. Know that the hatred of his words and the people lent their blades strength. Know that they sensed the weakened city and they brought war with them. Many Githzerai drowned in the chaos and beneath the blades of our enemies. Small beads of metal appear on the surface of the blade as if it is blistering. No, this happened long ago. What happened to you? As I fell from the walls of Shrugged, know that myself was broken. My blade was missed, my mind divided. I was adrift upon limbo seas and I wished to drown. I died for days, my mind awash in division, when death finally came to me. It wore your skin and it had your voice. Me? You asked that I hear you. As Dakon says the words, your vision bleeds outwards and a crawling sensation begins to worm its way through the back of your skull. You feel nauseous for a moment and your vision is suddenly as chaos, smeared, twisted, and you are someplace else, someplace in the past, and we surrender to the memory. Everything around you is in turmoil. Your vision is hazy, swirly, dizzying, all at once. There is mist, pockets of fire, islands of mud, stone, and ice-covered rocks swimming through the plain like fish, impacting and dissolving, droplets of water arcing through the howling air and lashing your skin like teeth. You choke back your nausea and you steady yourself. This is the plane of limbo. All is chaos, nothing is stable. You focus on the dying man that lies before you. It is why you have come to this place. Examine the third and see whether he still lives. The man is Githzerai, his body embedded in an earthen pocket that swirls around him. Unconsciously he has formed a grave from the elements, and though bits of fire and water lick at his face, he does not respond. His ends are ashen, his black coal eyes focusing on nothing. His emaciated frame speaks of starvation, but you know it is the least of his wounds. It is faith that dealt him the mortal blow. Look at the blade he carries. In his limp hand is a twisted mass of metal, its surface having melted around his hand like a gauntlet. As you watch, it steams and hisses like a diseased snake. The Githzerai does not seem to be aware of it, but it is that weapon that has brought you here. Dakon, Serth of Shrugged Drowning, last wielder of the Karak blade, know that I have come to you with the words of Serthimon, carved not in chaos, but in stone, carved by the will in an unbroken circle. The word Surthimon. No, at the word Surthimon, Dakon's eyes roll in their sockets, and they attempt to focus upon you. With effort, he cracks his mouth to speak, but only a dry hiss emerges. You bring forth the stone from your pack and hold it before him so he can see. Know that the words of Surthimon inscribed upon the stone are true, and know that your divided mind need be divided no longer. All you must do is take the stone and you shall know yourself again. Dakon's eyes flicker over the unbroken circle of Surthimon, and for a moment you think he might be too close to death to recognize it. Then the right hand twitches and he pulls it slowly from its earthen prison. The clumps of earth streaming off it become water in Limbo's chaotic winds. His skeletal hands clutch the stone like a drowning man, and his eyes flash. Know that I have saved your life, Dakon, Surth of Shrugged-Law.
Updated my journal.
And 6,000 experience points. Dakon's eyes turn from the stone and flicker over you, and he hisses again, too dry for a moment to muster the words. He blinks slowly, then speaks, his voice barely above a whisper, but the words are what you wanted to hear. My life is yours, until yours is no more. Close your eyes and return to the present. Dakon is silent. I heard your words. The chaos in my mind became still. I knew myself again. So you got the circle from me?
Updated my journal.
Yes. In knowing its words, I knew myself. But did it save your life, Dakon? Or did it divide you further once you studied the circle? Dakon is silent for a moment, but his blade writhes as if in pain. He is slow to speak again, and when he does, his voice is somber. It divided me. Then did I really save your life, Dakon? Or did I only add to the pain you already felt? Those words of Surthimon's, they only seemed to divide you more. I see it when you pore over the teachings. Dakon is silent. I say that I never saved you, Dakon. I only raised you from near death so that you might die again. If you had died at Shrugged-Law, then you would have known peace. Your words carry the weight of truth. The death I would have died at Shrugged-Law, that would have been the last death. Every day I have lived since is a new death. You need serve me no more, Dakon. I never saved your life. I only killed you twice. You owe me nothing. No. Dakon's forehead creases in pain and his eyes stare through you. It is not your word that carries the weight, and your word will not free me. The word that chains me is mine. The torment is mine. I know in my heart that the chains remain. Words will not free them. Is there any way you can be freed? You must die a final death. Yet your path is not death's path. There is no resolution to this matter. Okay, let's speak a vow. I swear I will find one, Dakon. I will find one that sets you free.
Updated my journal.
Dakon's voice becomes ragged as if he has suddenly become sick. No, you have added other words to my words. His expression is pained and his gaze meets yours. Now you have chained us both. Wait, wasn't that a good thing that I did? I see. There are other things I would know. So there was another language question, right? What is the Rai? Language? What is Akali drowning? Know this, when Akali drowning is spoken, the speaker is telling you the answer to your question would serve no purpose. Know that it carries the unspoken intent that the question be shaped so that it is more specific. Who was Akali? Upon our home plane of Limbo, we must shape the plane with our minds, or the chaos of the plane will devour us. Akali was one of the people who did not know herself. Time came upon her when she lost herself in the chaos matter of the plane. She knew not how to return to her community, so she shaped a small island with her thoughts and waited. She waited. In waiting, she met a traveler swimming through Limbo Sea. Akali is said to have called out to the traveler to ask the way home. Only one question need she have asked. Know you the way to my home? Well, then he would have said yes and continued on swimming. That's not helpful. Yet she asked, what know you of the plane? The traveler knew much, and much of what was said was new to Akali. Her questions grew, feeding upon the answers until she knew not where she was and knew not that she must maintain focus. The small island she had shaped dissolved into the chaos matter, and she drowned. So she could not swim then. It is a lesson that tells of the harm in asking without purpose. I had some other questions. The other things I would know. Tell me about the other me, the incarnation you knew. What was he like? Dakon's gaze travels through you and he falls silent. Dakon?
Updated my journal.
Know that he was different. Know that the differences were not marked on the skin, nor in the way of the weapon, nor in the attire that cloaked him. Know that he was different in the way of thought, and the means he acted upon his thoughts. His will became substance. Know that he saw others and did not see them. He knew only how they could serve him. His heart was treacherous and it was cold, and never did its coldness burn him. Did it ever touch you, Dakon? Did he betray you? Dakon's blade begins bleeding into a dull, flat black, and you watch as edges like teeth begin sprouting from the edge of the blade. His face clenches and he speaks through his teeth. It is not my will you know of this. Tell me, Dakon, did he ever betray you? I surrendered my word to him. I surrendered myself. What are you talking about? No, we already had that. So did I betray him or not? Okay.
I feel stronger.
Okay, so what did the journal say? So yeah, this was still in the past video. I confronted Mortar about the extra line of text on my back that he forgotten to read. He claimed that it wasn't anything of substance, so he didn't read it to me. I'm sure he's lying, but I don't know why yet. And then this is the new text. Dakon told me the nature of his slavery when I saved his life. He promised to serve me until I died, but he wasn't aware that I was immortal. In doing so, he promised the remainder of his life to me. In speaking to Dakon, I remembered saving his life at Tractlor with the unbroken circle of Silthamon. The strange thing is, I don't think I wanted to save him. I wanted to save the Karak blade from being destroyed, but I don't know why. It turns out I was the one who gave the unbroken circle of Silthamon to Dakon. I swore Dakon I would find a way to free him from his servitude. Rather than bolster his spirit, the vow seemed to crush him more. Dakon said he knew one of my previous incarnations and he didn't have many pleasant things to say about him. He called him capable, but self-centered and treacherous in his actions. I'm beginning to wonder how much damage my other selves have done across the plane. Dakon says the only way he can be freed from slavery is for me to die a final death. I'm not sure how I would even bring such a thing about. And we leveled up. So the thing is, leveling up in this game involves a dice roll. I'm not sure I did that 12 years back. You know, save scum to get a better result, because I have 46 hit points. I read in a walkthrough that the nameless one can get up to 10 hit points regardless of his class. I don't think that's true. I'm a mage of the 7th level. A mage has a hit point dice of 4. But also I think a fighter of the 5th level, and the fighter has a hit point dice of 10. So I should have at least 50 hit points from my fighter levels. I don't have those, so I guess I didn't save scum. But now I will. So let's level up. Oh, but we got 4 hit points, so okay, I guess that's the maximum for a mage. And we get another character point. I think we put it in wisdom. Okay, very nice. Also, being a mage means we get... Oh, I can't rest in here. Means we get new spells, right? Okay. Yeah, I only have remove curse. I need some decent level 4 spells. Anyway, how about call it a video? And I promise this time it's not going to take 12 years. So thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Goodbye.